Hey guys, Mr. Marone here. Welcome back in. We are now kind of dead smack in the middle of our unit on transformations. We've already looked at reflections, and now we're going to look at translations. Not the translation you guys are all used to doing in your foreign language classes. A little bit different. So a translation is a very fancy way of saying a slide. So when we looked at a reflection, we actually flipped the entire item over a line, and it caused the item to look backwards almost. If we took a triangle and flipped it, it would be pointing the opposite direction. With a slide or a translation, the figure stays facing the exact same way. It's just literally if you picked up a piece of paper and slid it across a table. That's what we're doing with a translation. So a couple things to point out here. The first thing is right in here, I'm going to highlight inside of our definition, we have our second of 3 transformation rules. So on the left-hand side, you have a capital T indicating translation. Capital R indicated reflection, so as creative as math people are, capital T said translation. And then they give you these little kind of brackets for X and Y. That's going to tell you how far to slide the figure. And then you would take the whole figure and slide each point the same amount. What's important to note about the translation, which is different from the reflection, is the distance between our pre-image point and our image point, like A prime, B prime, and C prime. Those are all going to be the exact same length. With reflections, it was all based on how far it was from our line of reflection. With translations, we're sliding the whole figure the same distance. So all 3 of those distances should be exactly the same thing. The other thing that they do note here is that all 3 of those changes in distance will be parallel as well. So there's a bunch of information inside of this definition for you to review. I'm not going to read it all to you, but I wanted to just point those out. So I've got 2 quick examples here. They've given us one where they want us to do the translation, and then the second one, they've given us the translation, and they want us to figure out what the rule is. So here's our rule right here. So it's telling us to translate the figure, and then it gives us this bracket of 7, -4. So just like we would read anything else with a set of coordinate points, this is the amount that I want my X to slide. Okay, so X movement, which means we're going left or right. And it literally follows what's being said there. So if it's a +7, that means I want to slide each of my points 7 units to the right. My Y coordinate of my translation is the Y movement. And that's up or down. So since it was a -4, they want me to slide down 4 units. So we're going to take each of our points. I'm going to change colors here so we have our image, and we're going to slide each point 7 units to the right and down 4 units. Because they gave us a graph, I'm just going to count the boxes. If they didn't give us a graph, if they just gave us the coordinate points, you would just add those to your coordinates, which I'll show you with one of the coordinates in a second. So for this moment, go ahead and pause the video, and for each point, count over to the right 7 units and down 4 units. All right, welcome back in. So there you have my image of E prime, F prime, G prime from my triangle EFG. Now, if you're not given the picture, but you're given coordinates, we can still do that. I'm going to show you with point E. So point E was given to us as -5 and +4. That's our coordinates. If I wanted to do this translation, I would do -5 + 7, and I would do 4 - 4. And if we looked at that, -5 + 7 gives me the X coordinate of 2, 4 - 4 gives me the Y coordinate of 0. And that would be E prime. And if we look at our picture, E prime is at 2, 0. So you can do it either way. If you want to do it mathematically, that's fine. If you want to do it just by using the picture, that's fine as well. Now we have to write our translation rule for this second one. So we're going to need a capital T, and then I'm going to put in my little brackets. So we need to figure out what's happening. And they told us that we're mapping S, T, U, V, and that becomes S prime, T prime, U prime, V prime. So our translation rule is all set up. Now we just have to figure out what happened. This is really simple. All you're doing is picking any initial point, any pre-image point, and counting what happens from S to S prime or T to T prime just like that. So if I look closely at this, from S down to S prime, it went down 1, 2, 3, 4 units, and it appears it went left 1 unit. So I'm going to go down 4 units, and I'm going to go left 1 unit. And that's it. That's my whole rule. If we wanted to verify it, we could pick any other point. From T to T prime, it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes left 1. So the rule holds for all 4 points. That's it. That's all there is for translations. They're super easy. Hopefully this was informative. Hopefully it was quick and straightforward. If you have questions, bring them in tomorrow into class, and we will be trying this once we get into the room. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.